Good evening, everybody, and thank you for checking out another one of my weekly Forex and crypto analysis. I do appreciate each and every one of y'all for hopping on to see what I am looking at in the market. So first and foremost, I like to look at the fundamentals. I am not a fundamental analysis trader by any means necessary, but I am a trader who likes to take into consideration what is going on with the news, with the fundamentals. So no news Monday. Tuesday, we have RBA Governor Lowe. Will he be speaking? We also have, actually, let me do something real quick before I even continue. Share screen, share, yeah. That's interesting. Hold on. Oh, there you go. Ask new participants upon entry. There we go. I don't know. That should have been already set. But anyways, then we have congressional elections. We have elections all day on Tuesday for the United States. So definitely want to watch out for any type of potential spikes or anything like that in the market. Thursday, we have US dollar CPI month to month and year to year. The forecast apparently for CPI for the inflation is apparently looking like it wants to go, it's going down. Kind of don't see how that's going to happen, but we shall see what it is. We shall see what this inflation is going to be. If this number is anything higher, I mean, 8% inflation already is still a bad thing. I still do think that we can see some potential upside, but we'll see. If the inflation, if the forecast is 8 or lower, then hey, we might continue to see a bearish US dollar, real life. Like, and that's something that we all would want to see, because like I've been saying for a couple of weeks now, I'm tired of being long the dollar, right? We have Governor Macklin will be speaking. We have GDP for the GBP pairs. Definitely want to watch that for 1 a.m. on Friday. And we have consumer sentiment for the US dollar at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. Other than that, we have crude oil inventories over here on Wednesday for those who trade oil. Core CPI, initial jobless claims over here. And this is the reason why you want to have more than one source for where you get your fundamental news, because there was some news on here that clearly you can see that's on here that is not on there, right? So and then Friday, GDP, the year on year, the quarter to quarter, and the month to month for the GBP pairs. And so yeah, that's about it. The quarterly change, we'll be seeing what that looks like. And so now I'm gonna go on over to the charts. Okay. So let's go on over to the dollar. I want to show you guys, first and foremost, it's the monthly candles have closed. So now I'm going to have to delete everything that's on my charts, right? Everything. Nothing is going to be spared. That's just how I roll. I do want to just show you guys this chart real quick that I am still seeing a possibility to. I'm not going to do all of this again. I'm just going to keep it where I'm not doing all of this again. But you know, these are the areas, the second, like 80.670 and 93.6, no, 96.245 are two major areas that I'm looking for the dollar to get down to on a long-term scenario. But anyways, remove drawings, remove drawings everywhere, right? I'm gonna be removing drawings on all these pairs, so just know that's gonna happen. So going over to the monthly time frame, let's see what's cracking, right? Monthly time frame on the dollar. This is this month's candle? No, this is the month of October. Doji candle on the month of October. And let me get onto this one so I can be able to see what the volume looks like. Okay, Doji candle on the month of October, and the volume was not as high as the month of September, but the volume was much larger than the rest of all these other volumes over here, except for when we come to back in January of 2017, which even that, if we go and look at the volume on that, June of 2017, the volume was 935,000, basically, right? 935.736,000, whereas last month's candle was 976,000. So this is still very large volume with this doji candle. And we know that doji candles show, you know, indecision, right? So we have 23 days and 22 hours until we get a new candlestick on the monthly time frame. I still want to point out that yes, on a monthly time frame perspective, the US dollar should be or is at an area for me personally where a bearish move, whether that's coming back down to 101.145 or even if it comes down to 83.130 again, I am looking at this area as a whole, as a whole, for the US dollar to go bearish at. It did go up slightly a little higher, and I do remember doing the analysis about maybe 2 months ago. It had to be 2 months ago, where I'm like, price did go above 110.760. However, with price going 110.760 like that, I wanted to see on the lower time frames, not on the monthly time frame. Gosh, not on the monthly time frame, that I wanted to see price, on probably on the weekly. Let me just go into the weekly time frame right here and show what I really wanted to see before I start to say that, okay, yes, now you could really expect bearishness. Last week's candle was ridiculous, in my opinion. But I wanted to see, this level right here, something like this on the weekly time frame. I wanted to see. Oh, hold on. First of all, $110.760. Monthly 78.6. Make this slightly bigger. Okay, so I mean, to be quite honest with you, for those who are really position traders and you hold your trades for months type of stuff, I mean, I even said it last month. I mean, if you would like to, you can short here, and it's not a bad place to be looking for shorts. It's just too early, in my opinion. Right. But now, last week's candle, I mean, we got a large wick to the upside, and then we just have the closing all the way down here, and then the volume wasn't that impressive for this bearish move. I mean, for that move either. So it's kind of like, what are we going to be seeing? Hold on, guys, give me a second. Okay, we're going to be seeing, some type of. I feel like with this wick right here, it's difficult to want to try to sell or want to try to buy against the dollar, right? However, we have such bullish, there's so much liquidity to the downside that the dollar has to come and grab regardless. But it's until this structure gets broken, do you really want to try to go up against the dollar type of thing, right? But this weekly time frame, this weekly candlestick from last week, it is telling me, yo, maybe the sellers are, maybe the buyers are done and now the sellers are tapping in, right? Still do want to be aware that, where the bullish move for price to really make a new high did come back down, and it almost came to the 78.6. It didn't, and it hit the 71, slightly lower than the 71% fib, and then went bullish. Not necessarily a type of play that I would have wanted to see. And then we have a bearish engulfing candle with rising volume as well with it, right? So there's a couple of things that is like, yo, this dollar is kind of looking like it wants to start to turn bearish. But again, I mean, ultimately, I'm even not too crazy. I mean, it could just literally bounce off of this or fake out to the downside right here and then go bullish. Because ultimately, I'm really, even from this low down here, I'm still looking for price to, if it does, come down over here to 106.710 and then continue going bullish. Like this, like the US dollar is still ridiculously bullish, right? So with that being said, I'm just like, yo, I want to just be patient. I want to wait and see what the markets are going to do, right? Like going on and looking to the other side of things. Hold on, let me actually, you know what? I'm going to use this. This is definitely a possibility, but with this bearish big volume candlestick as well. I mean, I know this was NFP and all, but still is definitely something that gotta watch out for. Gotta watch out for this bearish move. So I'm gonna leave that zone right there. And of course, from this high to this low, the US dollar did reject off of that 78.6. And not even just this 78.6, you know, from over here as well, from this high at 114.720 to the low of 109.975. Price did reject off of the 78.6 twice and then pushed to the downside and made a 1-4 drop if I would have played that, right? So there is bearish moves that are occurring with these pairs that is kind of like, to me, do I want to be bullish on the dollar based off of the higher time frames? Yes. The lower time frames, on the other hand, are starting to suggest maybe the dollar will be starting to turn around, you know. So I can't look past this big bearish candle right here and then price retracing and then it dropping. I can't, with the volume like that, I can't shake that off, you know. And as price is dropping to the downside, the volume is increasing like steadily. So definitely still an intriguing area. I still also like, I mean, right here, right now, if not this, you know what, not even this, if not this area right here, where I was like, you know what, the dollar could definitely potentially go bullish from here, because this is the candlestick that FOMC left, and then price went bullish. So price definitely can start to turn around here. But there's also this opportunity that I'm seeing that price could just dwindle all down to 110.165, making those who took the bulls right here, taking them out of their trades, like if they stop loss at break even, or if traders have their stop loss here, take that out real quick, run down to 110.165 and even slightly lower off of some CPI news, because it's kind of interesting how this is lining up, and then for price to go bullish. That's what I want to see personally. As much as, yes, I am tired of the US dollar going bearish, I don't see a reason as to why it should be going bearish, you know? So that's just my thing that I have with dollar. So we're gonna really see. And Blake, I know, and Blake is one of my students. He had showed I really want to see if that pricing on EU. You know, I'm gonna show that pricing. I'm gonna be really interested, and it's gonna be really funny if that price actually does hold, and then EU goes bearish, because EU is the opposite of the US dollar, right? So again, this is what I personally do want to see, whether if it's going to continue going bearish here at these fibs, or, you know, if it stops right here and then goes bullish. Either one of those two plays, that's what I am currently searching for in the market. I want the dollar to go bullish one more time at least, you know. I not even one more time. I just don't think economically there's a reason for there to be any change in the dollar going bullish or not. You know, dollar is king. We're in a recession, in a global recession at that, and you know, we have the likes of, like, and we'll talk about the Japanese yen later. I'm not even going to go deep into that. So we'll see what goes down. I'm going to leave the fib for myself right here, because I still do see, you know, maybe there's a 1-to-1 possibility for the dollar to go bullish real quick before coming back down here on some play like that. Who knows? But let me talk about the bears now. Let me talk about what I would want to see if I am going to play a bearish US dollar, right? If I see that this zone right here gets really violated, like let's just say that price just really continues going bearish and breaks through this zone, that retracement, I'm selling. I might even sell before that happens, but that retracement that happens, I'm gonna sell. Hold on, give me a second. I'm gonna sell it, you know, because like the impulsive bearish move that happened right here, I feel like let me see how fast the move up happened versus how fast the move down happened. So from here to this high, it took price 19 hours to get up there, right? I need price to have at least, let me just see how long. It took 19 hours for price to get up to the highs of 113.060 or whatever, right? On the way down, it took about 1 day and 4 hours. I could live with that. I could live with me still Hold on, let me even take it down to these lows. I could live with price taking that long to the downside move for me to play a bullish US dollar right here, right now. I could live with that, you know. Now, if it would have been like, oh, the push to the downside, it took price, like, let's just say, if it took it like 18 or 17 hours to get to down here, that's what I'm gonna be like, okay, no, it came down too fast. I'm not comfortable buying it, you know. So again, for a 1-to-1 move, I don't doubt that this could definitely play out, you know, for a 1-to-1 type of play, you know, where I'm like, oh, you know, buy over here, stop loss at this low where this wick was, and then whatever you were risking whatever you were risking, you made that amount. I'm not against that play. Or even a 1-to-2. You know, I think that I'm probably going to play 1-to-2 moves off of this. And if these don't work, I'll probably even risk 0.5% on these, just on the off chance that they don't play out. But I am going to play no matter what. This 110.160. If price gets here, I'm going to be bullish on the US dollar and anything against it bearish, quite honestly. So there's that, like a patty whack. The Bears, this is the play I see for them. I mean, yeah, I'll start it from up there. Why not? Even if, you know, price were to make this bullish move to the upside, I could see where demand really kicked in. I could see price potentially selling off at 112.530. Let me go ahead and just put on the daily volume. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's hot. Yeah, I like that. I don't really care for the fact that there's still so much volume up here. It makes me kind of feel like if price does climb up here really fast, that I am going to want to just say, you know what? Don't even sell this. The bulls are here. Let them play. So that's how I feel about it. All right. That's how I feel about the US dollar. So we'll see what's good. It's going over to Euro USD. Okay. So, oh, before I go into the US dollar, got to look at RB real quick. You know, again, I'm going to delete all drawings. Real traders know how to mark up their charts real quick. So the weekly time frame, extremely bullish still. Could possibly see a turnaround, but nothing too crazy that I want to react on the weekly. Daily time frame. I had talked about this last week. I had said that, hey, this is starting to line up and look pretty decent for the Bears. You know, we got the breakout to these lows, retracement back up to the upper danger zone in the RSI line. Selling it. I mean, if I were to sell it via RB, yeah, I'm not gonna lie, the sales again, they are starting to look pretty decent. Even let's just say hypothetically, if I'm gonna enter right here, although I would have really entered over here, my stop loss would have to be above these highs, or not above these highs, but at those highs, to say the least over here. But right here, and then I would be looking to sell it at least for a 1-to-2 type of play. And of course, if it's a swing, I'm not going to just risk 1% of my account on a swing. I'd rather risk 2% of my account and it take me 2 weeks, or not even 2 weeks, but like a week and some to play out, rather than just risk 1% and then it takes forever. But yeah, the Bears, it called for a sell, but it's not fully confirmed yet. So just know that. I don't like the magenta candles look, because the magenta candles do signify that there is bearish pressure. So definitely want to watch for that. 4-hour time frame called for a buy. It was a pretty decent buy at that, but now it's starting to look like it might call for a sell shortly. And the Bears over here, they look confirmed as well on the 4-hour. So that's not a good sign for the buys. And the 1-hour time frame, I don't want to trade this time frame right now, but it's also calling for bears as well. So it's like, you know, again, I see the buying opportunity here and I'd play it. I definitely would play it, but it's just, you have to be careful, because if this hits stop loss, there is literally another setup right underneath of it that I'm going to play as well, you know. So that's how I just see the market. I'm not going to really get too much deeper than I have. I mean, I don't have anything else to get too much deeper into, right? So moving on, it's going over to the monthly time frame. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Monthly time frame on the US, on Euro USD. not necessarily a doji candle, but it's showing a candle of indecision. And I like that the indecision candle has more volume than this bearish candle right here. So that's very interesting for me to see that, right? Very interesting for me to see. Gonna go and zoom out a little further. I still do have where price is currently at. Yes, this is a point of interest for me to be looking for. Hey, this can possibly go bullish, right? I'm still waiting for some lower time frame confirmations for me to really say that yes, this monthly Euro USD, I am now going to be expecting it to go bullish. There's still a lot of price action that needs to happen on a lower time frame before I feel that way. But I do appreciate that the fact that the volume is increasing and price is just stalling right here. Very interesting to me. Weekly time frame, we have, this looks like a shooting star to me, quite honestly, for price to continue going bullish. But there's still a lot of there's still structures that I do need to see this close above before I feel like, yes, I'm going to look for buys now for sure on Euro USD. So that is just how I feel about it. It's still extremely bearish price action, but it's at a level that is like, yo, if it starts to really show on the weekly that it wants to start going bullish, that this might be the bottom. Like right here might have really been the bottom on EU, just like how over here on the dollar right here might have been the top. That is something that I did mention a couple weeks ago, that this could be potentially the top, but I don't want to be out here calling tops or trying to get into trades that are like, oh yeah, I just called the top, now we're gonna yada yada. No, not yet. I still need to see some structures get broken. So with that being said, structures that I really do want to see get broken for me to start being bullish on the US dollar, realistically, this one and this one. Like more of this one up here than the ones down here. We have seen price break above the 50 EMA, but I mean, I just have the 50 EMA there just for visual things, but I don't really use it that much for my trading, quite honestly. This is the fib that price did respect the first time at the 78.6, and then it dropped down, almost came to the 23.6, but it didn't. And after it dropped down, we see this big volume on this bearish candlestick. It's slightly lower volume than this, so it makes me ask the question: which one of these is real? This volume on the bearish candlestick, but the volume wasn't that high, was 96,000.466K, right? Or 976K, basically, right? Versus this volume is 935K, but this candlestick is larger than this volume. So when I'm seeing that, I'm kind of like, is this going to be a sell-off? Because I do still like to sell personally. I like to sell. It's just interesting how NFP had more volume than the interest rate decision. It's very interesting to me, but I cannot ignore this wick right here. So ultimately, let me push this over here real quick so I can just have it to the left. But ultimately, what I do really there's two plays that I'm seeing on Euro USD, right? Is this first play, which I sent some people like, yo, this is a good trade idea. I'm not gonna lie, when the market closed, I got out of it, but this is a good selling place where you could potentially sell Euro USD at. I'm not in this trade any longer. I did share this with a couple people, but I'm not in this sell anymore. I kind of would, not even kind of, at this point, I would really rather wait. And again, Blake, it's lining up. It's literally lining up with what you've been mentioning, man. Definitely see the opportunity for price to come up to 1.001 before making, even up to like 1.002, but before making that bearish push. This is the play that I'm watching for right now, quite honestly. And even with this right here, I could, if realistically, if price does break above the zone, I will start to look for buys. But it's really, if it breaks this zone, then I'm gonna be like, all right, now no sells. I only want the buys. I'm gonna wait type of play, you know. But that's ultimately what I'm looking for on the US dollar. I mean, on EU, I definitely want it to come up to 1.00169. I'm actually even gonna, man, what? Let me even sell limit this. I'm down to sell this, you know. I'm really down to take that risk and sell this, take it to the extendos to the downside. Because realistically speaking, as much as yes, right here at 0.98855 is the 78.6 fib. I would I would still beg to differ that, you know, the US dollar is still, I mean, the US dollar still doesn't have that much of a reason for it to go bullish. I still really feel that way. I don't think that it has a reason to go bullish quite yet. Or, you know, I don't think that the bears are done. Well, we'll see. Again, until this structure, especially this structure, until those get broken, I am still going to have a bearish bias on the dollar. I mean, on the Euro USD. So with that being said, this is the sell play that I'm going to be looking for. I didn't know, somebody did ask if I could go over gold, so I'll go over gold real quick for you. Dang, I don't even know if he's still on this analysis or not. But anyways, instead of going on to USHF or anything, actually, before I do that, let me go on over to RB, let me go on over to Euro USD and see what it's talking about. Delete all drawings, 4-hour time frame, called for the sell. It played out pretty nicely. Right now, currently rejecting off of the upper danger zone, but it could be calling for a buy. Confirmations are actually looking good for a buy as well, but I'm not going to play it yet. This called for a buy. I mean, it's playing out already for that buy break and retest type of play that I would have looked for. My entry would have been at 0.9822. So it's already gone bullish, and it's already hit my 1-to-1 at break even. I mean, my break even point on this, right? So Euro USD, it definitely can go bullish, but again, what I personally wanted to do is come up to 1.00169 basically, and then push to the downside. So that's my outlook on EU. Let's go on over to gold real quick. Again, I didn't know that some like people love gold. Delete. I mean, there's stuff that I still have to keep up here. Hold on. Actually, you know what? Just delete it. It doesn't matter. The past is the past. Let's leave it there. Okay. Monthly time frame on gold. First and foremost, 2 months in a row that gold closed against the monthly 50 EMA, so that's very interesting to me. We saw those equal lows that were here a couple months ago, got broken through. Last month's candlestick it does look like price wants to continue going bearish. However, the volume is decreasing as price is pushing to the downside, but the highest volume was over here when price was really making that run to the upside. I can't ignore these bears right here, and I can't act like, oh well, let's start to look for buys on gold. As much as yes, right here from this low to this high, price is rejecting off of the 71%. 1589 still looks like such a better pricing, in my opinion, for gold to come down to. I mean, even there's still I bet you there's a whole bunch of volume down here at 1300s if I put in the point of control. Yeah, boom. I mean, I don't even know when's the last time I looked at this, but I can't believe I called that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of volume right here. And there's still a volume to the upside on gold right here. Even though it's not a lot of volume, there still is some upside to some upside volume still. You know, if we come into closer to pricing, then it's definitely going to show the volume that's still to the upside over here. There you go. So realistically speaking, this is what I see happening. You know, price continues lower to the downside, then climbs back up slightly before continuing going and making a lower low. You know, that's kind of what I'm seeing on gold for a very long-term move. I don't believe that this is going to continue going bullish, not this year or next year at least. And I mean by continue going bullish as in make new all-time highs. You know, I don't think it's going to. Not until 2024, personally. Or we might even see. But yeah. And the reason why I even say pricing over here is because not only because of the point of control is there, but because from this high to this low, look where it lines up with the 78.6 from this past swing over here that happened back in August. So, you know, price coming up to 1782.5 for a bearish play overall. As of right now, with price making these three equal lows right here, that's what I will be looking for higher time frame wise on gold to get to, right? Lower time frame wise, like as in this type of week, this week's play, in my opinion, I mean, first and foremost, let me fix this up. Dang, did gold really do this? Yeah, it did. Kind of see that there's these equal lows that gold broke through. Very little, very barely though, and then push to the upside like this. I'm not gonna lie to you, the buys do look intriguing. The buys with like if price retraces back down to the likes of 1635.4, then goes bullish, it does look intriguing. No doubt in my mind at all. I can actually get rid of that real quick. However, just like how with the other US dollar pairs, I do see the possibility of, you know, gold coming up to 1713.1 from this previous lower high, and then price came and made a lower low down here for price to then come up to that 1713 area and then go bearish to at least 1647, something like that. But that's what I'm kind of looking at for gold as well. I'm not going to call that out. I want to see how price is going to continue getting there, because as we can see, as price is increasing, the volume is increasing. Although this was NFP status, I still want to see how price is really going to get up here at 1713. So with that being said, going to wait for that level of pricing before I sell off. And that actually matches up pretty well with Euro USD and with the dollar continuing to go bearish. Give me a second, guys. Sorry about that. And for gold, even for a bearish play as of right now, like, yeah, price can like really just turn around and start to sell off here, but I don't like that play from like, and it's just from like right here from this high at 1689 to this low price, the way how it shot up at that is kind of scary. So it could sell off, it really could, just like how the dollar could sell off, just like how the dollar can buy, just like how Euro USD can sell off and stuff like that. But just for the sake of being patient, you know, that 17.12 looks much more interesting for me to sell it off at. I have a higher chance of my trade going for me if price does reach up here and then falling to the downside type of thing, you know. Going to the 1 hour time frame, let's see what that daily volume looking like. This has not been retested. And then let me see what the point of control is on the 4 hour time frame. Still to the downside a little bit. I would have loved if there was volume up here still. But it's like either A, where price is at, or B, to the downside is where the volume would be. So, hey, man, like I said, it's a possibility, but with the volume, with the point of control, how it looks, it might not even get up there. And price, like I just mentioned, how it could possibly fall off right here, right now, because of some type of play like this. It can, but I just would rather play this. Going over to RB real quick. I'm pretty sure RB is gonna give me some type of agreement as to, oh yeah, gold can keep going higher still, so you might want to be patient. And you do want to remember that was the gold futures chart. So the prices that you were seeing more than likely do not reflect the one that is on your broker. So you might want to just map it out the same way on your broker. I like looking at the futures chart because it allows me to see the volume in a more realistic way. If I go and look at gold on my Owanda or something, the way how the volume looks, it doesn't look that realistic to me versus how the futures look. That's just my opinion. Consolidating time frame. I don't like the 4 hour on gold right now, so I'm not gonna play it. Daily time frame. Woo, man. Well, even with that volume, man, this is starting to look like it might call for a buy. I definitely would just need, like, even if price comes like slightly higher, retracement, and then a buy move. Doesn't look that terrible on gold. Even the level pro and the arbitrage Z are kind of lining up for a buying opportunity. So we shall see what's up with gold. And then 1 hour, I'm not going to look at it. So yeah, that is Mr. Goldilocks in a nutshell. Either A is going to fall right where it's at, or B is going to climb to 1712.8 on the futures chart and then drop to the downside. Going on over to USDCHF, and this is one of those trade ideas that I gave that I was like, hey, if you want to take it, you can. It's definitely an idea. I did take it. I made a little bit of money off of it, but I got out the market. I got out of it at the end of Friday because I just didn't care for the price action like that. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure I delete. Wait, let me make sure I don't have anything that I want to mention on the monthly. And those are not that important. Let me go ahead and delete everything. Okay, monthly time frame. Looking at USHF. Overall, this thing is, holy crap, man. USHF has just always been bearish against the dollar. Like supremely bearish. Always has. Basically. Or it's always lost its value against the dollar, I should say. Sounds more professional, if you will. But anyways, going over monthly time frame. This was last month's, left a wick to the upside. I mean, price closed above what the previous month's candle as well. So it's kind of like, does this really want to go bearish? You do have 23 days and 22 hours left on this. I mean, why is there a long wick like that to the upside already? Oh, because I'm done. Don't mind what I just said. But anyways, because we have like a whole 7 days or 6 days worth of trading, that 5 days worth of trading that hasn't been documented for. But there's these equal highs right here, or there's this zone in general, right? There's this large zone that USHF has that has been respected 1, 2, 3 times in the past 8 years. 8, that's right. Let's just say, let's just go ahead and, because 2016 to 2022, yeah, 8 years, whatever. It's rejected off of that zone multiple times. I have a very hard time believing that USHF isn't going to be breaking above these highs. We might just be seeing, or we might like see some type of play where it's like, oh, I'm gonna fake out to the upside, then push to the downside, retrace, then push to the downside somewhere. Some type of thing like that. We might see that. We may very well be also looking for a sell opportunity right here, right now, just like with the EURUSD on USHF. Now it has come to the 78.6 before, back in May and June, and rejected off of it and did a 1-to-1 move. Even did a attempt to come up one last time and then fell down. But now we're just seeing price increasing, and personally, I don't think this is going to go bearish. I do not think this is going to go bearish. There's a whole bunch of price action right here, but I don't think it's going to go bearish. It can, but I'm not really here for it. Weekly time frame right here, big volume, not larger than the previous week's volume, but definitely big volume to consider. And it looks like this is a shooting star to the downside. So it's like that daily candlestick is also pretty scary. So realistically, I don't like how USHF looks. I really don't like how this looks. Like, I see that, hey, it can possibly come come down over here, I mean, it's kind of already did that at 71%, so I wouldn't play it again if it came down here. So only thing that I really could play on USHF right now would probably either be a price come down to 0.97365, and then I look for a buy opportunity for the long term, right? Or B, price comes down to 0.96235. I, at this point, would much rather the 0.96235 for a buying opportunity on USHF. Okay. I might have to sell USHF lower time frame sells. Exactly. The sells look better to me for price to come down over here to 0.96235. Quite honestly, I don't care for the buys. I don't care for the buys, even with the US dollar. Like, yes, again, I did mention that. Hold on. I don't know who's messaging me, but whatever. I'm not really too crazy about these buys right here, although I know they could play out for a one-to-one type of play. Absolutely, they could potentially play out, you know. However, the risk to it, I mean, I would rather at this point see price just come down to 0.99059, just like how I have with EURUSD, just like how I have with gold, you know, just make that one more push to the downside at this point before I look to buy type of play, you know. That's kind of at this point what I'm looking for. There's equal highs right here. I'm not really that trusting of these equal highs for the sell on the lower time frames, like the 1 hour or the 15-minute and stuff like that. I'm not really too crazy about that for selling opportunities. Doesn't mean I don't see it though. Doesn't mean I might not play it though. Okay, let's see. Big volume on this candlestick, Wednesday, 2nd November. That was for FOMC. Then, surprisingly enough, it's interesting how NFP didn't give big volume to USHF, but it gave big volume to EURUSD. Literally the same time. And actually, now that I'm really looking at this, the volume isn't even that high off of this NFP candle compared to this FOMC candle. That's interesting. But then on the daily, the volume just about matches up. Man, I don't know. This might sell right today. Honestly, it might sell today. Might not even get up here. But I'd rather. I mean, I'm feeling the risk to sell it. I'm not gonna lie, but I'm not gonna give that to y'all. I'm not gonna give. I'd rather give this play to y'all to sell rather than sell right here. It can, but I just would feel much better. You know, don't want to hand. I don't want to give y'all some L's, but I gave y'all the game for those who paid attention. I gave y'all this potential setup for you to buy that on USHF. Same thing with gold. I did say if you want, you can sell it. So, all right, indices. Oh, before I go into the indices, RB. Take a look at USHF real quick on RB before I go into the indices. Delete all drawings. Daily time frame, yada yada yada, very much bullish. It could start to turn around, but it's definitely not ready yet for a sell. Weekly time frame, definitely not ready for a sell. 4-hour time frame, probably caught for a sell. Oh, it hasn't, and it's a consolidating time frame, so I don't want to play this. So, yeah. Either A, USHF is going to blast off right where it's at for at least a one-to-one play, or it's going to come down a little lower to take out those who might have stop losses underneath this wick to then go bullish. I have a feeling it's going to do the latter. Already talked about gold indices. Okay. Monthly time frame. Let's get rid of all the shebang. Remove drawings. Okay. Weekly time frame, price rejected. Monthly time frame, price rejected off of the 50 monthly time. The 50 EMA on the monthly. So that's an interesting sign to see. We do also have not as much volume on this candlestick as we do with this one from September, but still decent enough. It's not a bullish engulfing, but it is interesting to say the least, right? It is not a weak monthly candlestick, to say the least. Weekly time frame, average candle at best for the weekly bearish play. Average candle, not that crazy to me. I'm not gonna overanalyze this weekly, except for this same exact play that I talked about not too long ago. From that low to this high, I don't really care for it, but this is where the bullish move after finding some resistance did take off. Came to the 78.6, made the 1-to-1 move. Awesome, right? Now, I mean, quite honestly, let me just actually have this down over here real quick. Delete that. Okay, daily time frame. Daily volume did surpass the past couple of days on the S&P, but the volume, I mean, there's still a very large volume that happened over here that if I really wanted to compare it to, it's like I still feel like this can be bearish type of thing. But at the same time, and even with the big volume that happened, the candlestick not that impressive. Yes, it is a bullish engulfing candle compared to the previous candlestick, but again, it's really not that impressive to me. Daily time frame wise, like on this time frame, I still very much see a bearish play on S&P. For it to climb up to 4034.25 and then drop, I still see it. If this price gets to 3662 before 43.4, then I'm probably not gonna play this sell. Realistically speaking, that's just me. It already bounced off the 61.8 1, 2, 3 times, so that is just me. Yes. I do see, yes, a potential. I mean, I think they already did the 1-to-1, but I do see that from this, I don't care for it, but this is where price made a higher high. So I guess, but yeah, it barely missed the 78.6. That'd be hurtful if I was trying to trade that, but it barely came down there and then went bullish like that. Again, for me, that'd be actually kind of hurtful. But right now, overall, I really do see the bear side of USHF or the indices in them more than the bulls, right? This was FOMC, them increasing rate hikes is never a good thing for the indices. And if they're just going to keep increasing rate hikes, it's just going to cost more money for people to go and lend money or businesses to go and lend money from the Fed. So it's kind of like with the Fed increasing interest rates, the Feds, I mean, if by the time CPI comes and prices over here, I'm pretty sure the Feds are going to want to see inflation going down for this to continue going bullish. If inflation is going up, then this is more than likely going to keep going bearish, like that. So we'll see what goes on. This is the setup that I have for the indices. Yes, I do, and I did. Well, I didn't actually, but I do see this lower time frame play. It would have barely missed my 70. Wait, did it? 3786. Yeah, it would have barely missed my 78.6, then dropped, but again, I'm not really interested in that. So yeah, we'll see what goes on. There's gaps in the market, but I'm not really gonna address the gaps like that. Don't need to. I don't think that if price were to stop me out on this, that I would try this sell. I don't think I would, but you never know. We'll see what goes down. Going over to the other indices, it's basically literally the same play. Remove drawings, go to the monthly time frame, see what it's looking like. This monthly time frame looks much more impressive than the other monthly time frame. However, there's still a lot of downside that US 30 can potentially see. Not for the candlestick size, I would have wanted the volume to be much larger. So I'm still not really there for the bulls. Still not really there for it yet. All this, even the volume wasn't really necessarily increasing for the week on those weeks. This candlestick has the most volume and it's kind of a bearish candle at that. Yeah, I'm still feeling the bears here, guys. I'm still feeling the bears on the indices. There was this play that I was looking at from this high to this low on the daily time frame. Was I looking at this? Because if I was, why didn't I not sell a couple of days ago? I don't know. I probably was not looking at this, quite honestly, because if I was, or actually, yes, I was. I was looking at that sell, but it's because the other indices didn't match up. I didn't like how I felt about it. That's probably what had happened. So price went bearish. Again, I mean, at this point, high volume off of FOMC, you know, NFP didn't give that much of volume at that or that much of price action. Yeah, at this point, oops. I mean, I'll lock it, but I'll hide it at the same time. Same thing as with S&P, guys. You know, if we get the climb up, I'm gonna sell it. Ooh, I really don't like that it came to the 61A and then fell like that. I don't know if I'd sell this now. Damn. Really don't know if I sell this at this point. I'm gonna have to be. I have to watch and see what the price actually looks like, but I don't know if I would sell this anymore because it's just part of my rules. You know, it's just part of my trading rules. You just got to stick with them. Nasdaq, on the other hand, definitely has not gone up there. So let's go ahead and remove those drawings, monthly time frames, see what it do. Nasdaq, amongst the three of them, looks like this is just going to continue going bearish. So you guys see what I'm talking about? Like we have US 30 right here has a bullish engulfing candle. We have S&P not in bullish engulfing candle, but a bullish candle. And then we have Nasdaq over here looking like it's about to keep dying. Now, yes, the tech companies are taking a hit in the stock market, but if this keeps on falling, I feel like it's going to help influence the other indices of continuing to fall. You know, weekly time frame, bearish engulfing candle right there. So very interesting to see how these indices are not necessarily doing all the same thing. S&P is following the lead of US 30 basically, but yeah, if anything that I would play on the daily time frame for the indices is that if from this high to this low price got up to 12,471, I'd look to sell it, but it's very far away from there. And it'd be very interesting that if prices did get up there, it would be very interesting to see what the US indices would look like US 30 and S&P. What time is it? 7:02. I'm good on time. Okay. However, realistically speaking, if I were to try to trade NASDAQ right now, it'd be awesome. And it's just like with US 30, I can't necessarily play US 30, but S&P and NASDAQ still look good. I would want to see what this do. That's the play that I really want to see. I still feel like these indices are going to fall and keep falling. So if I'm seeing that on the indices, I mean, it can even come up to here, but I would rather not play this. I'd rather play where this big volume was to the downside. You feel me? But that's what I'm seeing. I'm gonna have to look at apparently all three of these on RB because they do all look different. It's not every day that it happens. Okay, so S&P, delete all things. 4-hour time frame called for the bears. I wouldn't sell right here. I'd rather wait for a retracement than another push to the downside. Daily time frame on S&P is calling for buys, and it's green. And there's actually confirmation calling for the buys. Okay. Ooh, this is when my trading gets a little difficult for me. This right now is giving for RB all the reasons to buy. All the confirmations that I can ask for are here for RB for me to buy this. I'm bearish on these indices. But what I am going to do, I think I'm going to, dang, I kind of even don't want to do it like this, though. All I can see for me right now for just an RB play, because RB is giving a fire setup, and it's not every day that I like be giving out RB setups, you know, especially on the daily time frame. But even this move right here, just like a 1 to 1.26 or something like that, is not a bad idea, you know, for an RB sell, let alone if you want to take it up here or if you think that's going to keep going bullish. I'm not going to lie to you. The buys right now don't look terrible. They really don't. Am I going to throw probably 1% at this? More than likely I would. More than likely I would, but depending on what the price action on the lower time frame will look like, I might get out the trade early, you know. It's just, again, the daily time frame, I don't really see setups like that I don't see that a lot. I don't even know when's the last time that I contemplated taking an RB daily trade, you know, like really hardcore. So this might be a good buy. That might be a good buy. I'm just gonna leave it at that for y'all. I'm not gonna. I already like planned where you could enter and all that jazz. So do your thing. Nasdaq, no. Nasdaq, definitely not. And okay, this is the thing. Actually, don't play that buy. Nasdaq, absolutely not. I would have to wait for price to really get back down to 30542 before I bought this. And even with that being said, let's see what the 4-hour looks like. Oh my goodness, this looks like a good sell. I promise you. Yeah, except for this, confirmations are all here for a sell. Confirmations are all here for a sell, except for the level 4 right here. But now, like, let's just take a look. We have the daily time frame looking like this, but then let's take a look at Nasdaq, and Nasdaq doesn't even look like it's remotely ready for a buy on the daily time frame. So that's when it's like, do you really want to go and play S&P when US 30 on the 4-hour time frame looks like a solid sell, in my opinion, and then you have Nasdaq over here. It looks like it's just about to go and make lower lows. I don't know if I would really want to go and buy S&P, so I'm not going to do that. Let me tell you that right now. When I usually look for these indices to move the same, I don't want to do one thing to one and then I do completely another thing to the other two. I'd rather go and trade something else. Okay, let's talk about the crypto. And I swear, if Bitcoin left me, then it's going to be devastating. All right, so this is the setup, and for those who have been coming onto my analysis for how long, you guys know that I've been watching for this setup for a while now. It's been at least 3 weeks. Whether it's my analysis or Payne's analysis, we've been watching for this setup for weeks now. Prices bounce off the 71%. It'd be really a sad day if price just really bounces off of here and then says, you know what, I'm just gonna push to the downside. It'd be a sad day, but again, there's opportunities every single day in the market, so I'm not tripping. But overall, I do want to see price still come up to 21823. I have a sell limit up here, and I've sent that out to multiple chats. If you're on here, except for those on RB, I've sent this to multiple chats, and I'm like, hey, I'm looking to sell Bitcoin up here. I mean, I'm even down to take it to the extensions, quite honestly. But I'm looking to sell it at 21,825 basically, or 22,000, whatever number you want to call it. I'm looking to sell Bitcoin there. My next selling point would literally be at 23,700 or 224K, whichever one you want to call it. But that will literally be my next selling point. If those two sales don't play out, then I'm going to be expecting Bitcoin to go at least, to say the least, at least up to like 40K for the short term, you know, and it could be possible. It could definitely be possible, but that means that it would literally have to double in price where it's currently at right now for it to get to 40K. So it still has a good amount of upside moves that it has to make for it to get to 40K, of course, but it's Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin could do its damn thing whenever it wants to. I do want to take a look at the monthly on this. I didn't take a look at it. Let me just hide this. And monthly doesn't look impressive at all. I'm actually going to go and look at the futures charts and see what it looks like, but the monthly doesn't look impressive at all. Same thing over here. Weekly POC at 10K and 7,305 is still definitely a point of interest that I'm looking for. Hide all drawings. The volume just matches last month's volume, and prices literally underneath the 50 EMA that is just being created. That's funny. But yeah, as much as I see this big volume right here, it doesn't match up the big move. It doesn't match up the move. As much as I'm seeing this big volume right here, it's not necessarily matching up with the volume doesn't match up with the candlestick, in my opinion. So yeah, I'm still gonna stick with what I said. Oh, this is on the futures chart. Same thing, right? Like literally the same setup. 21,790 on, or 21,800 on the futures chart here. Stop loss at these equal highs. Same thing for the futures chart. Ethereum, literally the same thing. Ethereum is actually doing the dash at the area that I thought it was going to. So it could definitely be like right here where it stops at. Let me actually go on here, delete this stuff. I'm not gonna talk about Ethereum long-term plays. I've already talked about that quite enough. Um, I'm up off the ETHL right now. Good, good, good. I'm glad you ate. I'm glad you ate because we were talking about that and we were like, yeah, that's definitely a good selling place. So I'm glad you ate off of that. One thing I am watching for on Ethereum, because if Bitcoin does get to that entry price, then I feel like Ethereum is going to get to 1844 for the sell, right? That's what I'm personally looking for on Ethereum. I have these lines up here for a reason. I'm just not going to explain it on here. But yeah, definitely still intrigued over the sells on Ethereum as well as on Bitcoin. So I'm going to leave it at that. Might not get the entry for those, but we'll see what goes down. Just like how we might not get the entries for all those other pairs. Isn't it interesting how they all look very similar and are lining up right before CPI? I got a 15-minute bullish fib on ETH right now. Nice, nice. Yes, I definitely think that that can play out. 15-minute, we could talk about that later. Okay, GU, a whole lot of PU. I always say that with GU. GU, last month's volume was definitely the largest volume out of all these candlesticks, except for the one right here on March. That actually might be like the exact same, or maybe even slightly more. Very interesting to see last month's volume that high. But there was a lot that was going on with the GPs last month. I'm pretty sure that had a lot to do with it, right? Last week's volume was even pretty high, but it wasn't as high as the previous week's volume. So that's interesting to see. I do want to actually look at what's on the left, what's to the left. So price took up those lows, and then there was a whole bunch of volume that came in, and price went bullish. I mean, if this is all the historic data right here, and this is all the way back in like the 70s, then guys, we might be seeing a GU bottom. But again, we don't want to try to call bottoms right now. But man, we might have seen back in September a bottom on GU. We'll see. Weekly time frame. I mean, we're seeing prices go bullish. That's cool and everything, but let's see what the daily looks like. If this structure could get broken on the daily, that'd be nice. That'd be a cool little buying opportunity. I do see a buying opportunity as well right here, but I'm not gonna draw it out, or I don't like it at all. Like really. There was a buy play from this low to this high retracement. Price went bullish. That's interesting. But I personally am looking for sells on GU still, guys. Until this gets broken, I'm still gonna pretty much feel bearish on GU. And I mean, this is not the greatest looking fib, but it did play out for a one-to-one move, to say the least. Kind of basically what I'm looking for. Just over here, I don't have a lot to say about GU other than the selling opportunity is still valid from this high to this low. You know, I still feel like it can sell off at 1.14768, but it's just like everything else. I need them to push up or down a little higher for me to then trade them, type of thing. Like it's just literally everything's lining up, and CPI is around the corner. So it's very, very interesting. GJ, GBPJPY. First and foremost, wait, what was this? What was I looking at over here? When was I looking at this? And why did it smack? It almost hit 1 to 2, but anyways, I don't know when I was looking at this, but anyways, GJ, they're very interesting. We got a 1-to-1 play off of it last week. That was interesting off of the weekly analysis. Overall, I mean, and this is just literally the same thing that I had mentioned. And we might really be getting a bearish JPY, maybe. I mean, actually, I don't know. Let me not even say that, because if I go into the monthly, I'm pretty sure it's gonna look crazy. Exactly. I don't want to call it. I don't want to go and call any bearish JPY after price is doing all this. What? Man, them JPYs are savages. Weekly bearish candlestick closed with an engulfing bearish candle. That's interesting. Daily time frame. I mean, hey, I had said that I was looking for price to fake out to the upside like it did, push to the downside, like come over here type of stuff. Like I want actually let it go a little lower to break some structure. And then the retracement, I'll look to sell it right here, and then boom, like higher time frames, I would be down to say that, play that. And just like how this is mapped out right here, literally the same thing. Like I'm down to sell this 4-hour GJ. You know, just like that. Simple as that. Not gonna get too deep into it. GBPJPY, I'm pretty sure on RB, I need to look at GU as well, but I'm pretty sure on RB, I also need to look at the cryptos on RB. That's my fault. Oh, I am slipping. GU, just like EU, is calling for buys. GU doesn't look as good for the bulls as EU does. But overall, yeah, GU looks good for the buys, but I'm not going to play it. The sells played out. Man, yeah, the sells played out. They still look like they can play. They can keep going to the downside. So it's kind of like basically what I have here is basic ones. Hold on. What do I have here? I have 1.47, 1.14768, 1.14768. Yeah, right here for it to sell. I mean, it'll be kind of above the RSI line, but I'd still be low key down to play it. No cap. And the 1-hour time frame, I'm pretty sure is calling for buys. Needs a retracement to keep going bullish. Yeah, I'm good off of trying to buy GU. I'd rather sell it. GJ 1-hour buys. I mean, if I would have bought right there, I would have definitely would have had my stop loss right there. It would have been a trade. I would have been down and tried, but it's okay. 4-hour time frame, very bearish. I'm not going to play it, or consolidating at that, so I'm not going to play that. And the daily time frame is just stupidly bullish, so I'm going to leave that alone. EG, this was a trade that I traded last week, and it gave me a nice little L. I even extended my stop loss, and it gave me a decent L. I'm not going to even lie, but I am going to delete everything, and I still see a possibility of EG selling. But let's go on to the monthly time frame real quick and talk about this. This is my last pair. If there is any other pairs that anybody wants me to take a look at, just go ahead and, you know, send me or just write it down in the chat or whatever. But this is my last pair before I hop off. This monthly time frame, it left a large wick, and for some odd reason, damn, why do I feel like this wick is going to get chased eventually? But anyways, monthly time frame, last month it was bearish, but it didn't close super bearish, so it's whatever. I'm like, damn, man, this wick is going to eventually get chased. Eventually. Has to. The retracement is going to be wild on that. Bullish engulfing candle on the weekly time frame above the 50 EMA, so that's very interesting to see. There's equal highs right here on the daily time frame, bullish engulfing candle with low volume, and then this candlestick has the majority of the volume for last week. But yeah, 4-hour play. This is what I'm going to just play at this point on EG. 4-hour play. If it gets up to 0.88050, I might sell it. But then if I sell EG, then that means that I'm going to have to low-key look for buys on the GBPs. And I kind of don't want to look for those buys. So we're going to see what goes down regardless with these markets. EG, just because of the confluence that it has with the GBPs, I don't necessarily want to play it. But again, I'm going to watch what the markets look like before I even play anything. Bro, we can see you speak, but your sound is off. You talking to yourself or what? The dealio. Did I not unmute myself? Wow, that's interesting. If you guys been on here this whole time like that, that's crazy. Cause I'll just send y'all the recording. It's all good. Yeah, no, it's on Discord. Like that's interesting. I don't know. I had unmuted myself. Can y'all hear me? Yeah, that's weird. Voice activity, push to talk, headphones. Can y'all hear me? That is weird. Wow. So y'all weren't hearing me this whole time? That's interesting. Dang, now I can see. Yeah, now you can hear me. Dang. My bad. My apologies. Thank you for letting me know. Um, dang. I mean, at this point, I'm not necessarily gonna want to go over everything. I'm not necessarily gonna want to go over everything. I'll just do a quick review of once I'm done. Actually, let me just do the quick review right now. But yeah, that's my analysis. I'm gonna stop the recording here and I'll just do a quick review for those who are on Discord. But thanks guys for hopping on to the analysis. Let's make some money this week and make sure to share the Next Wave channel, both the YouTube channel and the Telegram channel. We're trying to get to 300 subscribers so that we can give y'all some good quality free signals. You know, we don't care for signals like that. But we'd rather just give them away to free so that you guys can be able to eat with us when y'all want to. But yeah, with that being said, that's the recording.